Hey everybody, welcome back to another Scraplift Crafternoon. This time, as I get my camera all set up, this time we are scraplifting the wonderful Tracy Fox, and it's super exciting. And her picture, obviously, those of you that follow my channel know, is pretty exciting for me because it's Disney. But not just because it's Disney, do I love it, but because it's super colorful and it's a good take on a grid. We've done a lot of like grid layouts lately. I don't know if you feel it like we had last week's, which was all of the circles in a grid, and this one is actually like just squares lined up next to each other. So I am going to be using Chamel paper, and there's this really cool paper that had, and I don't know if I can find it in all of this, that basically just had squares. Here we go. I've got it. Nope, that's a different one. Basically, it just had these squares, and I'm going to take these squares and utilize them with a couple of pictures. And this is the final picture from the event that we did last week. So I'm going to be taking the squares from the square paper. Oh, here it is. And I've already cut it up, but it was a full sheet of squares with text on one side and patterns on the other. This was from, I believe, the collection before Reasons to Smile, which would have been, hmm, let's main character energy. This is from main character energy. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do. I'm also, because of her background paper, going to be using, see if I can find it. If you notice her background paper, she has a lot of circles up top. I'm going to be using this as my background paper. It's a little more vibrant, but we're going to put some yellow there to kind of mute this a little bit, but we're going to make it work. So I'll put you on fast forward and we'll see what I come up with. Thanks. So we are on fast forward right now, and you're about to see me just kind of figure out what I'm doing. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut down that circle paper and make it the background. And then I knew I had um 3-inch squares is what I was looking for. So I'm going to cut two of my photos into 3-inch squares. So I cut the yellow paper to 9.5. So I had a 1/4-inch border on each side. That does cover up quite a bit of that circle paper, but I'm okay because if you look at hers, she has that yellow circle. She's a couple of like circles, and she has that really, really, really cool circle made out of stars. And I wish I could have replicated that, but first of all, ended up covering up so much of my circles that I didn't have enough space. Also, I didn't have enough stars. I couldn't find enough stars. But that was super cool. So I do use this. I just think it's so fun. I really have been wanting to use some of these squares from that paper, and this was just the perfect excuse to do that. So I first was going to just stick down my photo, and I thought, no, I better use the edge of the paper to stick that down. And so I'm going to line up these 6 squares and use that, and it's going to mimic the 6 squares she had. Now, as I am doing this and I'm laying out, I realized she probably had 2 by 2-inch squares. That's probably what she had because her squares don't take up as much vertical space as mine do, but that's okay. I'm okay with the fact that I've done it. Now, you're seeing, and I think this is like the 4th video, and actually it's probably more than that, but I think I told you the last video, you're going to be seeing, unfortunately, proportionally, depends on how much you like to see me struggle, that the tape runner is going to be my nemesis. I should have taken this out of the video, but instead I'm leaving it in so you can see all of us struggle with these. I think since the ATG guns have ended up being this, and it's not problem's not the word I'm looking for, but since the ATG gun doesn't make their official tape anymore and I'm having to get like the Amazon version, there are some batches that just are cattywampus and they don't go in straight and they cause all kinds of problems. Anyway, I'm searching for just the right cut aparts to go to make the text block in the middle and then the title block on the top. So I have Reasons to Smile, I have Main Character Energy, I have all the different papers and parts to try to find the right cut apart. And I end up using, I believe from Reasons to Smile, this one that has both the floral and the today so that I can use that. And I'm trying to mimic, and in her case, she didn't do a full stair step. She had the middle one match the top, but I'm kind of doing a stair step where it's like it goes down towards the left-hand side. Um, and I love all the colors. I love the fact that you can mix Chamel's collections and you get all those bright colors. In fact, I still have a couple of pieces of some of her original, I think Glitter Girl, or there was a couple other ones from a while ago. I still have some of those collections, and I use them all intermingly. I put all of my Chamel together, and you can use them together. So then this is a little place that I'm going to end up putting the title, struggle bus with this glue, this tape. And I think it says something special or something exciting. And I first thought I would keep that, but then eventually I'm going to find something else that I end up using that I like more. And you'll see that in a second. So this says lovely, and I'm just going to add that there. So that's kind of like giving you the full breakdown of the page, which I personally think ended up being one of my favorite pages I've made this year, which I think is a good kind of sign for this scrap lift. So I go through and I'm looking for little pieces to tuck and put. She has a lot of like little things on the bottom. So I find this little blue strip. I put it in two places. And this is just about having fun. It's just about finding the cute little things. I'm going to go through the die cut package and pull stuff out. I see the word cute. She has the words there on her journaling strip, and then find this rainbow that, yep, there it mimics the yellow circle she has. So I'm going to mimic that with the rainbow. I'm looking for anything else I can find. And I don't know that I pull out anything else from this package. It's been a couple of days since I made this page, so I'm not sure I remember. And there it is. I find a couple of word phrases, including this one, and it is just feeling good. And to me, that is more of what the sentiment was than what it was before. So I'm going to replace, just on top of the purple, I'm just going to cover up that sentiment with a different sentiment. And it's two different collections, it's two different colors, but because of the way this page is put together with all the colors and the movement and the different kind of different sentiments, it works. So first of all, reminder, mixed collections. Second of all, it's your stuff. You can cover it up however you want. You can use it however you want. You can cover up parts of it that work or that don't work for you and use parts of it that do. You can cut it down, cut it apart, tear it, rip it, whatever you want to do. It's yours. You bought it. That's just, sometimes we treat scrapbook supplies like they're precious commodities, and maybe they can be, but in general, just as a reminder, they're yours. You do it. So here was my attempt to mimic her stars, as I took the dots from one of the silver words, and I used those metallic dots and kind of put them around the title like she had the stars. I think that ended up working out perfectly. We're nearing the end, and the last thing I have to do is the title. And I really want to say taco ears. So the story of this is, as we were walking out of the New England Taco Fest, sitting on the table was this taco headband. And those of you that have watched my channel a while know that I am a sucker for Disney ears. I have a lot of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have ears. They have taco ears. And John went over without even asking me and just paid $8, which, by the way, considering the cost of ears at Disney, that's a really good deal, and bought me these taco ears. I wore them that whole rest of the day. And now I have, to add to my collection of ears, these lovely taco ears that I can wear whenever I want. So it was really, really fun. It was kind of a fun memory and something that I wanted to kind of write down and have a memory of. So I took a few pictures of me, some selfies. John took a picture of me, and it was just a fun day and a fun memory. Thanks for watching. Here's a close up, and I will see you next week when we scrap lift someone else.